really good for time to draw chibis. I mean, take your time. I've never really been good at drawing chibis. I actually think the ones that I use for my panels are probably the best chibis that I've done. I would honestly say that if you want to learn how, I would recommend finding artists. No, nobody's too old to learn drawing. Nobody's too old to learn how to do anything. As long as you're alive, you still have the opportunity to learn stuff. You still have the opportunity to grow. Nah, there are people who are like 70 and 80 getting college degrees, and there are people that are in their 60s who are just starting their acting careers. You're never too old to start a new hobby or get a new interest or learn how to do something. Everybody starts at the same place. It's just a matter of like, finding what you want to do and then learning, like getting the resources. And drawing with a mouse is hard, but at least you can control Z. Yeah, I used to draw with a mouse. I drew with a mouse for years before I ever got a tablet. You have a tablet, but it's too small for your hand. Yeah, I get that. Sometimes tablet drivers will let you resize the area so you can potentially do that. I also know people who what they'll do is they'll draw on paper and then they'll put it on top of their tablet and then like trace what they drew on paper. Same with the tablet. Yeah. Well, there's always options. Something else I've done before is like if you have like a phone with like it doesn't have to be a great camera, but as long as it has a working camera, if you have a phone that has a working camera or you have a scanner, you could always do a lot of practice work on paper and then like take a photo. And if you have an application like Clip Studio or Photoshop, you're able to turn what you did on paper into line art on your computer and you can color it on the computer. I've done that before. There's a lot of different ways that you can learn. Actually, the chibis that are in my panels, I did those with the fill bucket tool. I have like a little lasso fill tool and I only did a couple of the lines. But if you have a hard time getting stuff from like paper to computer, taking a photo and like making the line art, if you have like pen, I think it's like the setting is called brightness to transparency. That can work. And there's also nothing wrong with like using like line tools and stuff. I'll be honest, the biggest thing about being an artist is that you're always going to be your worst critic. You're always going to see every single flaw in whatever you make, and you know what you want to do and how it doesn't come out right. But other people can't read your intent. People who see your stuff aren't going to know what was going on in your head while you were working on it. They're just going to see the finished picture and they're going to appreciate it for what it is. I've seen artists go from drawing stick figures to like drawing like super beautiful rendered illustrations in the span of a year. It just matters. Like, well, all that really matters is how you find what works for you and what you enjoy doing. You're never too old to do something that you're passionate about, and if something interests you, go for it. There's lots of shortcuts and tips and tricks that people have. That like YouTube's full of art tutorials and tips. There's like books on how to draw stuff.